Roof to Curb, welcome. We've got another podcast today. The Foodie for the Home, presented by Pull Tab Sports, the best podcast producer in this Twin Cities market. So thank you, John King. Thank you, Tom Garrity. PullTabSports.com. Visit it. It's a great website to get all your info on. So I'm Todd Plifka, Custom One. We have a home company, a renovation company, an exteriors company, and a landscaping company. So if you're looking for anything from the roof to the curb that you need help and support on your home, please go to custom1mn.com and let us know if we can be of service. So today I'm joined by Mr. Chris Navara, area sales manager with Ferguson. Chris, welcome.
Todd, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out. I've known Chris for quite some time. Chris is playing at maybe a 6 handicap today?
I wish. Maybe add three times that.
Three times that. So,
and then you'll give me a lot of strokes next time.
Yeah, for sure. So Chris is a passionate guy about the golf course, so we'll get into that a little bit. But been at Ferguson for quite some time, and then we've got Paul Hable, account manager at Ferguson. He's wore a couple hats over there. So welcome to the Roof to
Thank
Curb.
you. Appreciate it. Yeah, wore quite a few hats over my career at Ferguson, and I'm happy to say that as my role as an account manager, I get to be out in the market and chat with people like yourself and just get myself out into the market and start doing podcasts and answer questions.
Yeah, that's great. So I've known, had the opportunity to know Chris and Paul for quite some time. Paul, probably 20 years. Chris, probably not that short of that.
Probably half of that.
Yeah, for a while. So Chris, tell us a little bit about, you're the big guy in the room at Ferguson. So tell us a little bit about Ferguson. Ferguson is what and where they start and who are they? And
we're kind of an unknown. We like to say that we're the biggest unknown company in the U.S., but Ferguson is a wholesaler at heart. Started in 1953 on the East Coast, like Virginia, D.C. area.
Okay.
Ralph Lenz, and it was just a small plumbing. Plumbing was the backbone of
the bread and butter at that time.
Yep. It was all plumbing. And that's anything. It's funny you say roof to curb. We say anything that water runs through it from the ground all the way to the faucet.
Sure.
And it's taken probably, in the last, the evolution of Ferguson's grown, to take on appliances, take on lighting, some fireplaces there. But, it was just a plumbing base and, waterworks company, HVAC. We expanded into an international company at this time. So we actually went public for the first time on the New York Stock Exchange this year. So
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy evolution. When it first started back in the 50s there, was it commercial and residential, or did it start on the commercial side or the residential side?
It was mostly commercial. Okay. And then,
because I know it's got a great stronghold in the commercial space.
Certainly. And it's, if you talk about, schools and hospitals, and in the 50s, people weren't, making the kitchen and the bathrooms weren't significant, right?
Yeah.
So for the public, so it was all mostly commercial. So, and then it kind of transformed into like, hey, we had our first showroom in the 70s, and then it kind of grew from there. So
and on the commercial side, fittings, pipe, pretty much anything.
Yeah,
right?
PVC, copper, water heaters, cast iron. A lot of black steel pipe, and then it got an industrial. So, again, anything that water runs through it, or anything runs through it, air, gas, we basically sell it.
Yeah. So I think I've told both you guys a story. I remember going to Vegas for a remodeling show. It was at Mandalay Bay, and part of the deal was, you get to hop on a bus and go out to this little shopping mall, and it was kind of this little outside walk up to it. It's got 5-6 bays to it, kind of deal. And by golly, it was a Ferguson showroom, and Sam Rose was the host at the time, and he led the bus tour and had the headset on and was telling you all about it, of how. So this must have been back in probably 05, 06 time frame. And I believe the story was that was the first retail showroom that Ferguson had opened up in the country, and they chose Vegas. And I don't think that showroom's there today. I think it's in a different location.
It's in a different location. It's big. It's big, but it's still, the Vegas showroom is still there. And what Sam meant back in the day was, we still to this day, we cater to the trade. Builders are our customers, our trade contractors, plumbing, mechanicals. We have continued relationships with them. But then as, retailers got smarter, internet comes around, like we needed to go after the retail business. So the showrooms started opening up for homeowners and end users.
Sure. Any idea how many showrooms Ferguson has today? Nationally, right?
I believe 250. We have 1,700 locations, 250 showrooms throughout. So some of them have all three, we call them KOBs, kind of businesses. So appliances, lighting, plumbing. Okay. There's less than that. I bet you there's probably roughly like 100, and then probably 150 are hybrids. Like some might have lighting and plumbing, some have appliances only. So different.
Varying degree of square footage and depending on location and all that kind of fun stuff. So, you guys, to me, you're kind of like the Disney World of household products, right? Mm-hmm. You kind of walk in, you get all the lights hanging, and you got all these wonderful appliances and cabinets and countertops and, outdoor kitchens. And, Paul, talk about just maybe, let's start with, we'll eat the elephant one by one here, right? So let's go after appliances. So talk about some of the, appliance lines that you guys carry and why.
So as far as the appliance lines that we carry basically every major manufacturer, all the way up from the ultra luxury all the way down to what we call apartment replacement. Whereas if somebody's renovating an apartment and they need a $2,000, $2,500 package, we can do anything that spans that gamut. So
you got the white and the bisque product line.
We got white and bisque. Yep. Almond.
Yep.
Almond. Yep. Definitely. But having said that, where our showrooms cater to are home selection centers. So you had mentioned that, we're the Disney World of the decorative product.
I don't know if you've ever heard that phrase, but you talk about all things run through water, but I think you guys could use it. Disney World of household goods. Right?
I'm actually going to take that from you. So, but our showrooms are designed a lot like a car dealership, is what I like to say. Is when you walk in, you see all the pretty stuff. You see all the high end vehicle, the high end SUV, the sports cars are up front, but that's really our wow factor to show what you could do. So the purpose of a showroom isn't what would you do, it's really kind of what could you do. So as you walk through our different vignettes, there's different patterns, different styles, different products, obviously. You had mentioned appliances. We carry every major manufacturer from Whirlpool, Maytag, GE, KitchenAid, Electrolux, Frigidaire, Wolf Sub-Zero, Thermador, Miele.
Yeah.
And
if you have a price point, you can find it
100%
at Ferguson.
100%. And that's a great point. We not only cater to whatever you can dream of, but we also understand that there are first-time homebuyers out there that are maybe they're building on, say, a budget, but they might be able to extrapolate cooking. Maybe say they're foodies or something like that. So there's something in our showrooms for everybody.
Yeah.
So
I think not only price point, but aesthetics or design trend, right?
100%.
Of like, hey, I like certain handles, certain style of product, or obviously, hey, this is how we participate with the product. We are foodies, or no, we don't ever want to get that device dirty.
100%. Right? Well, and that's where our very highly trained, highly qualified sales associates will meet with the consumer and navigate them in this direction to that direction, depending on their wants, needs, tastes. We also have working kitchens in our, we call it a destination showroom, which Chris was alluding to. We sell all three categories. So when people come in and they say, hey, I want to see how induction works, or what is air fry, or what is a touch faucet, how does voice activation work on a faucet, we have all those live as well.
Yeah, so it's crazy to watch all the technologies. We've talked in the past about even if we break down outdoor kitchens, right?
Yeah,
and now you start seeing these solo burners,
smokers,
right? Smokers, just all the different things that you can do with cooking. That a lot of people are using it for, whether it's entertaining or just bringing a different quality of food or experience back to their home and their guests and things like that. So, Chris, maybe go down the line of just in outdoor kitchens, right?
Yeah.
What have you seen evolution-wise of grills and different taps?
Yeah.
Or whatever you see out there. What do you see in evolution-wise?
Yeah, it's turned into like an extra entertainment space, your outdoor kitchen, and we've it's tough in the Midwest, and you don't think there's a lot of outdoor kitchens in the upper Midwest because of the weather, but there are. I mean, you built, a ton of homes that have
more.
Them. And they've come a real long way. Instead of you can have a grill infused with charcoal, like real charcoal mixed in there. Rotisserie. We just talked about smoke, like having a smoker in there, seared.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like a chef's kitchen outdoors, like an outdoor display. So technology wise, I mean, it's certainly gotten bigger. It's not just standalone, it's built-ins, it's refrigerators to go with it.
Pizza ovens,
yeah.
Another great, people are doing pizzas and desserts in there. And
Monogram has they call it the hearth. And that is, we used to call it pizza oven, but they like to go by the hearth because it's more than that. But it's a great, that's a great innovation, and it's got the high BTUs, and it's just, again, for indoor use, and it's great for families that want to explore the outdoors and definitely expand that living area.
I get enamored with some of the things that, we go to the International Builder Show, right?
Yeah.
And you come back and you're like, oh, did you see that? Did you see this? Did you see this? How do we take that device and how do we incorporate it? How does it work, right? Whether it's a wine tap, whether it's a beer tap, or, outdoor taps where you can actually put in, vodka soda on there, or you hit the button and all of a sudden it dispenses, but it's crazy.
Well, and we also have 6 months of being cooped up inside our house to get these ideas generating of how we want our outdoor spaces to look. And from us here in the Midwest, I mean, we only have maybe 4, maybe 5 months to enjoy it. And to Chris's point, we're finding that people are heavily investing in their outdoor living spaces. I mean, they're not just outdoor kitchens, they're outdoor living spaces as well.
I think COVID had a big impact on that, especially in our geographic, right? Where people are like, hey, I want to extend. I want to bring the outdoors in. I want to enjoy my outdoor space more. You saw pools go crazy. And then, everything that comes with that. Of course, when I have the pool, I need to eat. Right. I need to have a couple sodas out there, right? And go from there. But it's crazy. And then all of a sudden that turns into, well, now what do I do with the food and what can I offer? And now I have the hearth and the pizza ovens and, all those kind of fun things.
But you mentioned, kegerators. I mean, that's big. And there's just, white wine, red wine, kegerator. I can't call them kegerators, I guess, but
beer
dispensers.
Your own distillery in your backyard.
right. Grow your grapes and
but it's crazy. And then, this the one burner. Is it a Solo? Is that what it's called? The
single burner.
The single burner, and company makes that, but I think it goes up to 16,000 or 18,000 BTUs. And people are doing stir fry out by their pool, or they're deep frying. It's
can't wait to get outside.
It's pretty crazy.
Absolutely.
So it's also been pretty fun, right? And then staying in that appliance side, what about just countertop devices, right? Like the countertop and the evolution of the pantry in the home and the working kitchen. And so, Paul, talk about that. What have you seen from some devices that people are purchasing and can't miss type devices that you should have in your home?
When we talk about countertop appliances, my mind automatically goes to blenders and toasters and toasting ovens and items like that. But as to your point before, I think COVID really changed our mind on how that operates, because whereas people are spending more time in their homes, they're looking for a quicker bake or cook, or a quicker drink, or a quicker whatever. So they might not use their wall oven, or maybe they have a double wall oven, or what have you.
But that takes time.
It takes time.
You got to heat the oven up.
You got to preheat it.
And you got to bake for 30, 45 an hour.
Whatever the recipe calls for.
Yeah.
But we're also finding that a lot of the younger generation, just with younger children, maybe they don't need to put a frozen pizza or chicken nuggets or
like air fryers or
air fryers.
Air fryers are huge, right?
Yeah. Totally. So we're seeing a lot of that shift to more countertop appliances. But that being said, people still are entertaining. I mean, people are still using their wall ovens, their ranges, their cooktops, their touch faucets, what have you.
How about coffee?
Coffee is countertop and built-in.
Yeah.
We talk about technology. Most built-in coffee makers, they have an app where if you wake up in the morning and you're about to get ready, you hit a button and say you want a latte, go take a shower, brush your teeth, walk downstairs, and you have a hot latte waiting for you.
Yeah.
it's crazy to think about where we've come in the last even 10
Or
years.
why do you even have to walk downstairs?
Why not put one in your closet?
Yeah.
Put one in the primary, the master,
Primary bathroom, right?
You see these juice bars and breakfast bars that are now in those type of environments. It's
and consumers are looking for we tried, and you try to dial in your buyers as well and customers, but they want simple but complicated at the same time, or sophisticated, I should say.
Yeah,
So
sophisticated for sure.
yeah, so you try to
With convenience.
yeah, but they don't want to make it too hard.
Yep.
But they want it nice. So like coffee makers, or we have $2,000-$3,000 countertop, coffee makers. For air fryers, ice machines, like countertop ice machines are like a big thing. With
What kind of ice do you want, Chris?
clear, you want square, nugget,
top hat.
Nuggets, rounds, top hats. I mean, holy cow! Like,
Yeah.
you're telling me we have that option of ice? Like,
and you can get it spherical or square, like for Manhattans or old fashions or any kind of bourbons. I mean, they got makers for that.
the Spheres, the LG products.
Yep.
And then I always love it. Like people request the hospital ice, right? Which is the smaller ice cubes. Like
Nugget ice.
Yeah, are they nuggets or are they the cubes, right? And you're like, well, I had a great experience birthing my children, and I want the nugget ice. Yeah, so it's always funny.
I never knew, like in college, telling my buddies, like, I know more about ice and ice sizes and clear and cloudy. And they're like, what? They're like, there's a difference? I'm like, no, think about it. And they're like,
Before it was cold or not cold, right? Like,
exactly.
I need something to keep it cold. Yeah. But yeah, so it's crazy. Any other technologies, evolutions that you guys are seeing? I know some of the products we're trying to go down the Alexa, and you got the Samsung devices that are with the TVs built in, and
You do. I would tell you Wi-Fi enabled appliances are a hot ticket right now. Ranges, dishwashers. Never did I think I would see a day where you'd be on the way home and you'd hit a button to preheat your oven to when you get home, it's at temperature. Cameras and appliances are starting to become very popular, which again, I never thought that, in my lifetime, but
you want to see the prime rib.
you want to see the prime rib.
Yeah.
No,
Or how much milk do I have left?
or exactly. You're at the
in the
grocery
fridge.
store
How
and
crazy
You
is
can
that?
see it. Yeah.
you're going down the condiment aisle and you look at ketchup and you look on your app and you say, oh, well, I only have a quarter bottle of ketchup left. I better grab another one.
Well, us being 3 males in the room, how many times have you gone to the grocery store and you came back short?
But people are
A
asking
couple
for
items,
it.
right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
the camera
Every time.
Maybe the camera is a must need,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I think we just buy it without looking, but then we're covered.
Yeah.
Samsung does have a nice, speaking of technology, Samsung's, innovative when it comes to technology, but they have a giant screen on one of the refrigerators. We have one on display now. It's probably 3/4 the size of the door.
Wow.
It's a giant screen. It's a touch screen. It's Google activated, Alexa. You can put notes on there. So it looks like a giant iPhone basically,
Yeah.
or an Android.
iPad
Yeah.
or a tablet.
You could just, put notes on there like, hey, went to the store or, however. So
be back in 10.
yeah. So technology is definitely, there's a lot of it. But as I was saying before, like consumers want it, but they don't want it too complicated. So I think trying to find that balance is what we're trying to understand, like what the consumers want.
So I've hosted a couple big holidays lately at our house, and you got the ham, you got the prime rib, or whatever you're cooking, right? But when did the probe in cooking devices start happening? And I'm a huge fan of it because you can't screw it up.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of foolproof, and you program it, you put in your temp, and you're like, holy cow, it's perfect.
Yeah, the luxury brands, I think late 90s, early 2000s, that's probably when it came around. Before it wasn't attached to the oven, you had your own probe and all that.
Yeah.
But you're right, that probe is awesome. I wouldn't buy an oven without it.
No.
It at all.
And now, I think it started in the luxury product, right?
Yes.
But now you see it,
Almost in every line.
right?
Yeah.
You see it in a Bosch and Electrolux,
Yep.
and I've seen it all kinds of. I assume Fisher Paykel's got it, and
Yeah, just about every manufacturer has it
yeah,
right now. But that's also
game changer.
It's absolutely a game changer. And
How'd it turn out?
Perfect. It's like I went to Manny's and I'm like, no, I just stuck the probe in and put 160 or whatever, And
well, there we
good to
go. You heard it here first. If Todd can do it,
Yeah.
I can do it.
I mean, and I burn mac and cheese, right? So I mean, it's been a game changer. I'm telling you, this is a
Right.
big deal.
And, as we talk about technology, the term that comes to my mind is speed and ease.
Yeah.
So Chris said they want the technology, but it wants to be easy. So they want speed and ease, which I think manufacturers are starting to make it simpler for just the general public in general.
Yeah, I think people are pulled for time, and time's a commodity, right? And you're running kids.
We're busier now than we've ever been.
Yeah, and calendars are full with sports being year round and
100%.
all those kind of things, right? With volleyball and soccer and hockey and whatever sport it is, baseball, it's year round. But you're always challenged on the calendar.
Yeah, absolutely.
So any product out there that is there a manufacturer that's embracing it more than anybody else? Is there a company that you're like, hey, they get it?
It's
gotta be careful here.
Yeah, because there's a lot of everybody has their own thing. Like LG or Signature has their sous vide.
Yep.
They have a sous vide, which is new technology. Sous vide's not new.
No,
integrated in their
is.
range, correct?
Yeah.
So everybody has their niche that they're trying to go after. Even we just talked about the ice as well. Like not all manufacturers make a sphere ice or a square ice. So it's tough. Samsung does a lot of tech stuff. Everybody's on the Wi-Fi train when it comes to refrigerators.
Wi-Fi apps.
Correct.
Right. You see a lot of that.
Yep.
We went out to Napa, right? And visited LG. And it was great because you got to see the technologies that they had, and sous vide was a big part of it, right? And kind of got turned on to that clean cooking. And, what people don't realize is sous vide has been around for decades.
Yeah, long
right?
time.
And if you actually go to some of the higher end restaurants, a lot of their products have been sous vide. But you don't know that because it has to be finished.
Right.
Right. And the presentation, you're like, oh, it came off a grill or it came off a griddle or whatever it might be. You had no idea. So,
wow. And what was explained to us, which the thought never crossed my mind, is if you've ever been to a wedding recently, it's hard to imagine that they bring out 75 or 100, whatever the number is, perfectly done fillets all at the same time.
all at the same time. How big is the oven?
Right,
How big is the grill?
Right.
Yeah.
So that was eye-opening for me from that end. That
But to your point, you can sous vide
anything,
hundreds,
Yep.
and all you're doing is finishing it for a couple minutes on each side, and it looks like it came off the grill perfection by Bobby Flay.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Roof to Curb podcast sponsored by Duke Cannon. Don't trust your mutton chops and mustaches to just any brand. Duke Cannon Supply Company makes hardworking grooming products for hardworking guys, and their products will help you keep your facial hair in championship form. From their beard wash and balms to beard oil, they have your back and your face covered. Duke Cannon. Work harder. Smell better. Stock up on DukeCannon.com and use Beard10 for 10% off your next order. Duke Cannon is an official partner of the Minnesota Wild. Switching gears. So you guys, you talked about all the fun things, Paul, when you walk in and you see, all the high end, the luxury products, and you see the dimpled copper tub, right? That goes for at least $10 or more, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. Has maybe a couple numbers and a comma, right? Let's talk about plumbing. So same thing. A lot of plumbing manufacturers, you guys carry price points, design aesthetics that can meet the whole spectrum of client. Is there a product line that you guys are like, hey, they get it. They're maybe a little more attached to aesthetics. They're quicker moving in the marketplace. Is that out there?
The brand that comes to my mind first, and I'll let Chris answer as well, is Toto.
Yeah.
Toto fixtures are definitely on the cutting edge of technology. Their smart toilets are something that we get consumers saying, well, it's just a toilet. Well, to us, it's not just a toilet. Yeah. It's a water closet.
Yep.
And some people want to walk in the room and the toilet lid comes in, or comes up, I should say. Some people just want to push a button. Some people just want the ease of not having to fumble around with what we consider a traditional water closet. So
interesting, right? Evolution of a water closet, a toilet, whatever you want to define it, but used to have a lever, right? and now, like, all right, things would go in, you hit the lever and things would go out, and you're like, all right, we're good to go.
Right.
And then it started to become the technology of how is that water closet constructed? How's it finished, right? So like cheaper, what maybe the consumer doesn't know is the cheaper ones, doesn't have the same glazing as some of the other high-end toilets, right?
Yeah. Glazed Petra. That's good, Todd.
Right? So, we're getting deep into
That's good. That's good.
But then you had conservation and you had water shortages, and then now you get introduced to a little button and a big button. You know, so you start mapping this out, and you're like, the evolution of that water closet, what took place, and then I think probably over the last 5 years, maybe 3 years, is the evolution of the smart seat. You know, and what.
It's slow close. Slow close seats are like a game changer.
And you know, the bidet feature.
Yeah.
The self-cleaning. Like, speak a little
washlets.
bit about that, because I know a lot of the manufacturers, they say that's their fastest growing segment in plumbing and what they're offering.
Yeah. During COVID, probably really, Toto probably had the market on it before washlets. You know, it's a Japanese company. Japanese were way ahead when bidets were bidets. Like So then when COVID kind of hit, you know, you're talking about $3,400 to $6,000 toilet that Toto makes that could flush on its own. It's a heated seat. It sanitizes. It does almost everything besides go for you. You know? But that's where the technology comes in, and Toto does a good job. And Kohler is a friend of our company, and they make great products, and they have the same thing. So it's kind of infusing that. Or reinventing the toilet, right? What you talked about, the 3 gallon, like I'm just going to use it. It's a round front in a corner, and it's, you know, your grandparents had one that was avocado color or harvest yellow or what's the pink?
Yeah.
Innocent blush. Those are always, you know, I'm sure your grandparents
they're coming back though.
Yeah, they are.
The colors are coming back.
So
just wait long enough, it'll come back.
Just like gold.
Yeah. Paul will be wearing bell bottoms pretty soon.
Before my time, thank goodness.
But could be back.
So, but that's where the convenience of you know, just cleanliness of you know, the bathroom, you know, process, and you know, a lot of manufacturers, and that is the fastest growing. Now you just throw a bidet seat or washlet, you know, just on top of what you currently have. Those can, you know, does take some power. You need like a power outlet. So you just can't have it in there, but that is definitely something that consumers are getting more comfortable with. Before it wasn't, right? Guys were like,
whoa. But I think it goes back to 2 things: convenience, sophistication.
Yes.
Right. It's like, hey, now I don't have to spend my Saturday morning cleaning the bathrooms for as long as I used to, right? Because the self-cleaning devices better. It creates just a healthier, you know, area.
Yeah.
Right. So it ties it all back, and you watch all these product lines going back to sophistication, convenience.
Well, it even goes back to, what do we think of when we think of a new innovative product that's released in market? What do we think of technology? Usually it's introduced as a luxury. It's a time saver. It might be more expensive. I mean, look at, what do we call them? Plasma TVs. I mean, oh my gosh, a TV that hung on the wall for, you know, $3,000, people would come over to our house and say, wow, that you have a 42-inch TV that's X amount, and now you can get a 50-inch, I don't know, what's the new technology, LED for $400.
LCD, LED.
LED.
$499.
So when you're talking technology, those are the type of products that we represent that are in our showrooms. Even to the point of ice makers, I've never thought I'd see such a demand for what Chris was kind of joking about, but not really. Ice makers, people actually have a preference on what kind of ice that they put in their drinks, that they put in their water bottles, that they put in their $100 water bottles, it seems these days. But it goes from the kitchen to the restroom to the lower level bars to the entire house. So
it makes a difference, right?
Yeah.
It makes a difference. You know, we were talking bourbons before, right? Or whiskey, and you want a certain size ice cube for that, and because it serves you in a different way, right?
Right.
Or water bottle, I want to fill that up with certain kind of ice, you know, because it fits in different. It keeps it cool. It's crazy that the offerings, the voices are being heard, and the manufacturers are responding and offering.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's great.
So LK's got to talk about reinventing. When you talk about water, so you go to the airport, you see the dispensers, right? Like the water dispensers that LK makes. Majority LK probably came out with it. I'm sure there's other manufacturers.
Yeah, we've put them in homes, in gyms and sport courts. And,
so now it's coming into
bottle
homes,
fillers,
right? Yeah, it started in the airports and schools, and now it's, you know, that's part of your home. It's bottle fillers in your house. It's And then the manufacturer's done a great job of like, framing that in. It doesn't look very industrial. It doesn't have to go on a water fountain.
Doesn't look like the water fountain at your school.
Exactly.
Right? At the elementary,
Yeah.
right?
So that's where manufacturers do a great job of reinventing product that's out there. Like Kohler's got a Purist, which is fancy. It looks like a microphone that comes off the ceiling. And it's a kitchen faucet. I don't know if you've ever seen that before.
Saw it at the builder show.
Yeah. Oh, they had it on display there. So like something like that. You're like, that's crazy, but it's cool.
Yeah.
And it's useful. And it's
clean.
It's clean.
Yeah.
And it's simple. It's simple.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anything else in plumbing? Lighted mirrors. Are you guys selling a lot of lighted mirrors?
Definitely
for
a lot
bathrooms?
of lighted mirrors. Definitely. As far as mainly primary bathrooms.
Yep. Bigger investment typically in that space. Yeah.
And I think consumers are realizing that maybe that makeup mirror that's only 9 inches or 12 inches, it's fine, it suffices. But if I can have 2 lighted mirrors, that's not only a separate light source in the room, it's also something where I'm able to put my makeup on better, or for us guys, maybe get a better beard trim. Or
but I think with the lighted source is the flexibility of having different light. Right. So you've got yellow and white, and intensity of light is different. So depending on what environment you're going to be in, can you mimic it through the lighted mirror so that your makeup or your beard, Paul, would look really good at whatever environment you're going to participate
When Paul was putting his makeup on this morning, his lighted mirror, like he wanted to make sure that it was bright enough so he could see all the
I didn't know I was going to be on camera today, so I kind of had to
powder up a little bit. So it is crazy though. I mean, just those little conversations, right? You talk about water closets, you talk about lighted mirrors, and the different of technology and service that is offered to perform however you want to perform in it. The item that we haven't talked about yet is showers, steam showers, spas, control, right? So talk a little bit about what you guys are seeing from digital technology and control inside of a shower bathtub type situation.
So that's the invigoration part of where manufacturers are coming through, right? They realize that consumers want that spa-like feel still. I mean, that's a cliche, but they definitely want that. And I know Paul's, works with builders more. And what are you seeing out there?
I'm definitely seeing an increase in just personal wellness areas.
Yeah.
Where it might be a workout room that may have a sauna next to it. Cold plunge tubs are becoming very popular now.
Huge.
We do. We work with a lot of builders that do work for professional athletes, and if you really think about it, 10 years ago, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. But if you're a professional athlete, your body is your moneymaker.
Yeah.
So
you got to take care of it, right?
You got to invest. I mean, that's where you make your money. So as far as those go, personal gyms, wellness areas are becoming very popular, and it's really coming part of our daily conversation. So when we talk about technology, I mean, us at Ferguson, we're excited to talk about technology. We kind of geek out on what's coming out next and the newest, latest, and greatest. And we're not of the mindset of like, that's just another thing that can go wrong. It's, hey, consumer, check this out. This is the new cool trick that's coming out that is going to be popular in the next year, 18 months. Yeah,
we've talked about in the past too of, spaces inside of a home or inside of a renovation that's taking place. And I'll go back to the COVID. Yeah. Right. COVID probably impacted that in a way of people started sitting in their home more than they ever wanted to be in it. And then they started disliking certain functions or lack of function in their home. And then you started creating these spaces, and then you overlaid it with all the devices that we're speaking about.
Right.
And it was really about having facilities and conveniences inside of your home where you didn't have to go to, or you didn't have to rely on. Right. So,
and that's where even in new construction, and definitely remodels, but certainly in new construction, when you're talking about putting a personal space or wellness space or putting in technology that you may have gone outside of the house for, we're definitely seeing consumer engagement with regards to if they're saying, if we're going to be here for the next 5 years, we'll just say, to be completely simplistic about it, they want what they want.
Yeah.
And more power to them that this is the decision that they've made. This is not their house, their home. This is where they're going to have their family. This is where they're going to spend.
How they prioritize.
Yeah. Exactly. So
That's great. We haven't really talked about lighting yet. So you guys deal with a lot of lighting, a lot of different manufacturers.
We do.
What are you seeing? Obviously there's a lot of design and trend that goes on with lighting. Fixtures get bigger, smaller. You overlay it with cans and different size recessed cans and functionality. But lighting control seems to be another big capacity.
Yeah.
Home automation,
of what's
absolutely.
going on, right? So
People want their homes automated.
Yeah.
They want to be able to walk into their garage and the light comes on. They want to be able to open their garage door from the or close their garage door from the restaurant if they left it open. They want to be able to walk into a room and
or they're getting the Amazon delivery,
exactly.
right? UPS, FedEx.
Yep, they want to see when their packages are coming.
Yeah.
So definitely get into home automation. From our end on a decorative lighting perspective, I was going to joke, today's Wednesday. The trends are what they are today. Tomorrow they'll be different.
Yeah.
But a lot of what we're seeing these days is the exterior coming in. We're seeing a lot of earth tones, a lot of natural woods, a lot of textures.
Which you couldn't get in the past, right?
Correct.
They didn't offer all those different design aesthetics. And now the creativity of the lighting manufacturer is, hey, we can figure out how to incorporate these things to tie it back into the overall design or aesthetic of the home.
And you bring in the outdoors in. I would tell you 5-10 years ago, if you were to mix metals, I know that's faux pas.
Yeah.
But mixed metals, blacks, golds, whites are definitely becoming back on trend. Matte finishes. Sure. You alluded to it earlier. Gold, or Chris alluded to it earlier. Golds are coming back. Those 1980s homes that may have polished brass, they may have tarnished so much over the last 30 years that they're matte gold now, and they're back on trend.
Yeah.
So
and the champagnes and the we always have the black and it's crazy.
The bell bottoms are going to come back someday.
I did say 70s, did I?
Do you think if Paul wore bell bottoms, would it be like more of a cloth or a linen, or do you think he'd go the jean?
Yeah, it'd be denim. Definitely denim and some high heel boot.
Yeah.
Holly to go with it.
That might be part two.
Nice.
Yeah. Bedazzled somewhere. Right? Roof to Curb is sponsored by Will Anderson Insurance. I want you to try a quick exercise for me. Think of your insurance person. Okay. Can you picture them? It's probably some person from high school or the old neighborhood that you no longer keep in touch with. Insurance is too important for the status quo. Isn't it time you switch to one of the best? Will Anderson can help you with all of your home, auto, and commercial insurance needs. He'll give you a fair solution. He'll be there to pick up the phone when you need him most, and he'll explain a complicated business like he's reading a children's book. Reach out to Will Anderson, and we bet you he'll save money too. Call or text Will for a quote at 612-361-7283 or visit willandersonagency.com. Build.com. So you guys, maybe a misnomer, but there's other websites out there, and there's a whole e-com business that Ferguson's involved in. Chris, you want to touch base on what is Build.com?
Yeah, Build.com is our internet company. It's a sister company that we purchased, let's call it 10 to 15 years ago, I believe. Was it 04?
That's
20 years.
Yeah, it was mid-2000s.
Yeah.
By the way, I've been with the company for 28 years, and I said 25 the other day, and I think the less numbers I add to my career, the younger I feel.
You bet.
So,
you bet.
But Build.com is our online platform and company. Someday we want to infuse the bricks and mortar that we have in our showroom with our online company, but we realized the Amazons of the world that we had to kind of keep up with them. It's just flat out. The pricing's transparent. The products, the specs, a lot of transparency online. So we bought Build.com to fill that gap for the end user, the consumer. Now, are we going after, are we going to 100% get our business onto Build.com? Absolutely not. We are at heart, we love the trade contractors, we love the builder. We definitely want to cater to all customers. But
so
that's part of
what
our
I'm
business.
hearing, Chris, is Build.com is not just for the trade or the builder. It's consumer.
It's consumer. Yeah. Okay. Majority of it, we do have pro contracts, but majority is for the consumer. We sell anything from, what you see in our showrooms, which is lighting, plumbing, appliances, but we also go beyond that and sell, we have tile on there. We have a lot of things that you won't be able to see in our showrooms, but there's a lot of opportunity out there.
So if I was doing a remodel job on my home or a project, or if I was getting ready to build a home, I could actually go on Build.com. I could select all my products that I like. I could actually bring that to my builder of choice or contractor of choice and
Correct.
say, hey, this is what I want to use. Can we select this? Can we purchase it?
Yeah,
Can we build a home around this? Right?
And Paul can kind of go in detail on
that's-
the process.
That's exactly the reason why we bought the e-commerce site. Is our showrooms are open as often as we can accommodate the traffic that's coming in, but sometimes, maybe Sunday night when we're not open and you have a customer that said, hey, here's 3 options. What is your opinion on them?
Yeah.
Those are products that they can select on Build.com, and it's a great pre-selection area where they can see this is maybe more than this is less than this is my style, these are my colors, build a cart, bring it to you and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking, this is where my mind's at. And it takes a lot of the guessing and kind of the ambiguity of the selection process and refines it in very short order.
Convenience.
Yep.
It
Well,
is.
and that's something that we at Ferguson pride ourselves very, very highly at, is we try to be as easy to do business with as absolutely possible. And if you can't get to our showrooms, we completely understand. You have an account on Build.com. We're happy to service your account on Build. If you want to come into our showrooms, so you're certainly more than welcome. We have very highly skilled associates that can guide you in the right direction. But as we found out very quickly, the Build.com release to the market was going to be a 3-year project. So we were actually going to release it in different parts of the country. And we all know what happened in March 2020. And our 3-year project got fast forward to 90 days.
Hit the accelerator.
So we shifted into high gear real quick.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we talk about all these showrooms, and there's multiple showrooms in the Twin Cities market. That is typically by appointment only, right? You get serviced the best if I call and say, hey,
Highly recommended.
Right?
Highly recommended.
different experience.
Correct.
A big showroom. Nobody walks around Disney World without a map, right? so you need a map, or you need the tour guide, right? So if I'm the consumer and I'm interested in products, I can come to Ferguson,
Absolutely.
but I recommend that we make an appointment.
Correct.
Well, and that's something that we do encourage home buyers as well as people remodeling their home, is come in and just get an idea. There's a lot to see. As we talked about technology and styles and trends, our showrooms are cutting edge, up to date, and we encourage consumers to come take a look, just see what's out there. But to Chris's point, when you're ready to make those selections and actually select SKUs, we would recommend that they do schedule an appointment with one of our salespeople.
I think it's a great opportunity for, if people are starting to get engaged and going through, whether some type of home project, home remodel, whatever it might be, there's some good sensitivity to it as well, right? Like you go on build.com, you're going to be doing 2 bathrooms, 5 bathrooms, whatever the number is, you need some appliances, you want to do some lighting. Well, sensitivity says, hey, I already know that I've spent, I picked a $12,000 or $50,000 appliance package. I know I've got $12,000 of light fixtures. I know I've got, $25,000 in my home for plumbing fixtures. Like, all right, well, that's 25 and 12 and 50, and I'm already at $100,000.
There's your budget.
Yeah. So you're like, no,
Budget, right.
I still need it installed, and I still
Right.
need it designed and all these things. So they know that it's not going to be a $12,000 experience.
Right.
So I like that.
Yeah. And we'll never say no. We'll try to help as many people that walk through our doors as we possibly can. And we pride ourselves very highly in world-class customer service, and we take it very seriously. And we're here for that person building that $10 million house all the way to the person that's building maybe that 2-bedroom, 1-bath split level. We cater to all.
So you guys, there's a lot of verticals and business segments at Ferguson, and I think some people don't know is that there's actually some in-house brands, right?
Yes.
Similar to maybe what Target does with their grocery and household goods. Ferguson has gone down that same path with some of their own brands and product lines, and obviously you guys saw a niche or a market piece that you could acquire. Maybe speak to that, Chris, just a little bit about what are those products?
Yes.
And what are the names of them?
Yeah,
And
Signature
do I
Hardware
recognize them?
is definitely our horse. Signature Hardware, it was another online company or product company that we purchased. And Ferguson we don't make any product at all. We're just wholesalers. We're big in. But Signature Hardware is a lot of plumbing lines that we have. James Martin vanities. It's speaks for itself. High-end vanities. Minka Lighting is a company that we own. That's part of our umbrella. Millennium Lighting, And then we have appliances, Edge Star, Avalon, and Landmark.
Yep.
Those are all brands that, they're all in-house. They're Ferguson owned. But there's definitely, again, there's a wide range of prices that go from entry level all the way to luxury in those brands.
Yeah. So it's always interesting, right? How businesses evolve.
Yeah.
Started as this plumbing company on the East Coast of the country, and now they're into showrooms and their own products and websites, and it's quite the evolution over 70 years.
It's crazy.
And that goes pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything you else want to mention? Make sure we cover.
No, I just, like I said, we're a wholesaler at heart, but we don't make anything. But our job is to make your life and a homeowner's life and the end user life as easy as possible. We know that remodeling, building, construction, plumbing issue, anything is not an easy thing to sit on. So our job is to make your life easier when it comes to that. For you and your business, Todd, we appreciate everything you do for us, and we partner with you, and it's a great relationship, and that's what we pride ourselves in, is that relationship piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, to Chris's point, building remodeling is an emotional process. I mean,
it can have a little stress to it.
A little stress to it. It's let's be honest, it's construction. Sometimes things don't go as they should or as to plan, but it's your home. If you're remodeling, you have strangers in your house that your builder has subcontracted with, that you trust your remodeler that has these subs that are doing work in your home, and it's definitely it's personal. It's an emotional process. So we are very cognizant of that, and we do our very best to manage that process. And we want people to be able to remodel their home and build the home of their dreams. And we pride ourselves in being an integral part of that process. Yeah.
So Paul, Chris, appreciate coming on. Ferguson, been around for 75 years, doing plumbing, fireplaces, lighting, and some plumbing as well. So it's a one-stop shop. Like I said, it's a Disney World for the trade, or even Disney World for the consumer. If you want to taste it before you jump into the showroom, definitely go to build.com.
Correct.
And have a good time. So appreciate you guys coming out.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
That's Roof to Curb. We'll see you next time.